who was the NDC colleague at that time, and later on became a member of parliament. If I give too much details, they will know him. And he was upset with me because I had really taken on his government. So when we finished the program, he sat in his car and left. Accountant 2 had closed. Me and my N95 alone. I also lived at Taifa. He stepped out of the building and it was raining heavily. Heavily. I began a journey of hope to walk from Abelenkwe area to Taifa. This was around 10:15 thereabout. So it was more of Jama kind of walking. Got to the Achimota forest area. At least I was talking to somebody on the phone on this N95, which was my only property at that time, and keeping it safe. Only for some, this is a house of God, so I want to put it right. Only for some 2 strangers on a motorbike around Achimota forest, gave him some 2 good slaps, took the phone, and said, next time don't make call, took the phone away. Anytime I recall this story, I always have to make sure my phone is in my pocket. I walked from that place to Taifa. Got to Taifa just after midnight, still in the rain. As I laid in my bed, there were 2 things. To go back to the UK, where I had my siblings, or to still carry on with the fight here. Unfortunately, it was light off. So it was a catastrophe on a catastrophe. But when I woke up the next morning, I said, giving up is not an option. Phone or no phone. Transport or no transport. I really want to pursue this, my politics and public service. And I never looked back. I quite remember when I returned from UK, my parents were quite angry. I have 4 sisters. Lovely sisters. They were not talking to me for months, deciding to leave UK to Ghana. They never understood it because your decisions should not make sense to people. Your life-changing decisions should not make sense to people. If you want to make everybody happy, then you have to sell ice cream. That's the only way that people will be happy because everybody gets to smile. But breaking the glass ceiling, it demands, it requires that you go through the painful process. Every great man or great woman has a scar, either emotional or physical. When they decide to share their story with you, and they decide to show you the physical one reminds them of that face. And the emotional one, they either shed tears telling you, or it's a point that changed their lives. So I want to encourage you here today. Today you are lucky that your fees are being paid. You are lucky that people are providing for your needs. Today you can call home and say, "Mesheto asa, miwe asa." A time will come, you will have to pay everything yourself. You guys came in together because you were coming for the program. But you were offered admissions individually. So your life cycle is not a mirror that your next door neighbor was given the same template. I believe that in this particular room, I am convinced that iYES will produce our fertile minds for the next phase of our development. So in wrapping up, let it be known that you are determined to do something different from the 4 million graduates we produced over the last 10 years. That 85 to 90% of them are still following up on series. Be creative, be innovative. Let social media add on to what you can do to change your future. It's not enough to use it as a place for gossip and for high life. If you want to be like the Jimmy Ives of our times, he definitely walked through some processes. The goal that you see has gone through tough fire. When they were showing the song of the Lion of Judah, you could see the fire behind it. Hope is not a strategy. It gives you comfort. But hope is not a strategy. You work towards your future. And you take it that when the chips are down, when nobody is in my corner, how will I make it? I was happy that I visited my friend and brother. In school, we called him Toaster. He was the leader of the Bad Boys Brigade. But I was happy when I visited him, and he has put up a temple for God, and he is an anointed man of God. We go for old school meetings, and when the guys are drinking the whiskeys and all that, sometimes I know that any breach of common sense, he can backslide. And I tell him that, man of God, be tough. And he's been tough ever since. But clearly, the things that draw you closer to your Maker and your future is what should engage your attention. Remember that if you are lucky, your parents will live long. But you cannot tell them how long they should live. It's in the hands of the Maker. When they are not there tomorrow, how are you going to make yourself proud? I sat in one of the chapels within the military base, and I read the biography and the life cycle of a distinguished army officer. That happens to be the father, the late father of Rosalind. When recently she buried her father and attended the burial service. And when I saw the military generals, the brigadier generals, filing past and showing their last respect, I could see this man play this role. Then I looked around and I asked myself, how will I and how should I also be remembered when you are not there tomorrow? The conditions that you face today might be fearsome, but I believe so are your strength. Live your life as if nobody is with you on this journey. Learn hard whatever you are doing today. And also open up your mind for things you are good at. We don't have a robotic station, but he had Manfred girls on the mountains competing in world robotics and coming out as champions. So don't think that where you are seated today, there's no hope. Never did people ever envisage that a black man could lead the free world. But Barack made it. Maybe someday you'll be the one to even lead Africa. And never think that it's too big for you. Pastor Brian never started on an iYES platform. He conceived the idea, nurtured the idea, worked towards the idea. When I listened to Amanda, the EcoBank lady who came to stand here, you could see that she's also on her own career path. Ask yourself, what do I want to also become someday for people to also sit amongst the audience and listen to me? So I want to challenge you. Move beyond your comfort zone. Let's make that paradigm shift. It's not enough for you to be told at birth that you should be a nurse. As you keep growing, what are you good at? She is a lawyer, but has identified the entrepreneurship skill. You might be working towards being a journalist. But when you reflect, I am trusting God to also give you a second opinion of whatever you are doing and how God should bless your handiworks. Thank you. I don't know if there are a couple of questions for me.
Okay, so I'll come to you.
If you did, I didn't get the question, then I know there's trouble because Jimmy did. Okay, thank you.
My name is Solomon.
Yes, Solomon.
I'm speaking on behalf of the youth of Ghana.
Thank you.
We are tired. Honorable, we are tired not because we have not tried, we have tried. I started the school in Brekum. It's about 11 hours from here. My aim was to bridge the gap between private schools and public schools, because at the university I did education. And I realized that the methods we are using in the private schools and that of public schools are not the same. So we started the school and we made the school free. The parents were supposed to buy textbooks for their wards. Now these poor parents are not able to buy the textbooks. Can you imagine that for almost 2 years, Senate and Internal Revenue has taken us to court. Every 2 weeks we go to court to pay money to them because they said we are not paying tax and all that. But the school is also not making income. Now what I'm saying is that you see a very robust system that always makes things difficult for you to break through. And always you are seen as a bad person. Authorities will not listen to you because that is what the law says. But the law also doesn't give back to us as the youth. Now we give up. This is what I've done. I've given the school out as a gift. And 2 people have taken the school and they are now bringing it back to me. Children leave our school, go to these established schools, which individuals who have capital to run it are doing it. And they become first in that school. But in our school, they don't have position. Now, Honorable, my question is, what is the commitment of youth agency to help individuals who want to do something? Because in all the forums, they say we should do something. What is the commitment of the agency? Number 2, what is the commitment of the government to reveal some of these systems? Because it's like the systems are there to take advantage over us. And we are tired. Thank you.
Okay. So, Solomon, thank you. I think it's a very genuine concern. First of all, you are not making profit. And 2, tax authorities will not let you have the peace of mind and manage the kids there. That's in Brekum. East or west? West. Agogo as the MP. Or where Chumniama was. Nelson. Okay, good. I think I'll also take up the name of the school, and I'll personally follow up on it. Because sometimes you could have somebody taking advantage of the fact that you are even in competition with another school. The mindset and the capacity of our own people. The capacity of our own people to sometimes be unfriendly. When I say our own people, I'm talking about our own people as Ghanaians. So I'll definitely take it up, but because it sounds very interesting to me. And then again, your issue of sometimes you feel like you're working hard, but the kind of support is not there. When I was at the iYES, there was something that I saw when I was at the iYES as board chairman. And I've had the opportunity of being youth leader for the NPP as well. You could see somebody going to COTVET. That's the Council for the Tertiary Vocational and Educational Training. The person will go there and get support after going to apprenticeship. This person moves from there and goes to NEP, National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, gets support. The person moves from there and comes to iYES with a proposal, gets support from iYES. And the last thing you see has gone to National Youth Authority saying they are doing collaboration capacity building. One person will walk through to block the channels and the blessings of other colleagues who might badly need that help. So I think that if you ask me, the commitment of government for me has not been the question. But even how we monitor those who take advantage for me remains one of the mysteries of the system. So one person will end up getting support of, the person needs just 20,000 from COTVET, will get 20,000 from NEP, will go to iYES with a program and get like 30,000 and all that. He needs 50,000 to start, but you end up getting about 100,000. And then how do we even monitor these colleagues 6 months down the line to see what they use the monies and use the support that the government or the system or the agencies give them? So then it becomes a cycle of unemployment. So the Solomon's issue is a very interesting case, and I'll personally follow up. So Solomon, whilst the government is doing its part, amongst ourselves too, I think we also need to challenge ourselves to also serve as a monitoring device. Because I've said it and I keep saying, if you set aside 1 billion cedis to help youth unemployment, and we don't block the loopholes in the system, that 1 billion cedis which can go to support 100,000 young people for startup or as entrepreneurs, if you don't take care, that 1 billion cedis will only end up supporting 50 people. Because one person can make sure that he goes through the system. Someone told me an interesting story yesterday. He said, now for many people, when the laws are being passed, they don't ask of the content in the law, they ask of the loopholes in the law. So they are thinking ahead of the loopholes in the system. So my good friend and my brother, take it as a personal commitment to follow up this. But please, it's not about you just giving up on the school. It's about the future of the young people who could have turned out to be like the Reverend Brian and Jimmy and all those good people that we can. Never give up. And I believe it remains a struggle. A very good friend of mine that I helped, one gentleman who wanted to get into the security agencies. I helped him get a form. He applied, kept encouraging. I followed up. Then he got one of the agencies. He got it and he told me, and he comes from a rural place. Came to me and said, oh, no, but when I pass out of the training, I want to be stationed in Accra. And I asked him, so who should take care of those in the village? In fact, that even helped me to lobby for them to send him up somewhere. Because I realized that he didn't mean well. I'm happy to say that he settled very well wherever he is. 12 months down the line, he's now taking care of his sick mother and the siblings. If you are watching us live on the social media pages, let's move beyond our comfort zone. Rosalie, is there any?
We'll merge it so that we
Okay.
can answer together.
Good morning.
It's afternoon, sir.
Sorry, afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Deladin.
Okay.
And this question I'm about to pose is centered on mental health.
Okay.
So I would like to ask, what are the measures the NYA, that's the National Youth
I'm no longer with the YA.
the Youth
I
Employment Agency.
used to be a board chair for the youth employment. But it's good, you can ask as well. At least I'm still a youth activist, so it will be good to still get my colleagues who are not here and then get them to also act on.
So,
I'm now with the NLA as Director General. Yeah. All right. Matemonka, to relax.
what are the measures the NYA is putting in place to ensure that educational institutions are open to curb issues on mental health?
Okay.
Okay, let's take the second one as well.
All right, thank you. My name is Kobiche.
Senior, your slangs
sir.
is too much, so I can't hear.
My name is Kobiche.
Okay.
All right. Now, so God bless Pastor Brian for putting this together. So I am a living testimony of iYES, and it has shaped my mind. Now I have, probably have to just put them together. Number one, it's about youth policies in Ghana. I chanced on the 2010 youth policy for the youth. I mean, policies that was designed for the youth. And when you read beautiful policies, but it looks as if on paper you see them, but implementing it and we, the youth of Ghana, being part of nation development has become a problem. So I'll beg of you that in your capacity, try as much as possible that when you put things on paper for the youth of Ghana, you can push it for us. Now, I like the fact that you also called two young kids to ask them about what they want to do in future. And again, when you were speaking, you mentioned our mindset and looking at China, South Korea, and all. Now, you notice that they have the environment because like a kid in China will start creating apps. A lot of things that these children in the Western world are doing. When you come to Africa and Ghana for that matter, when you go on social media, you see a lot of children who are very innovative. You see them, true of us, very innovative. Today they are creating this. And to build a society or to build a nation, we need people like this, skillful people. So it looks as though, like you mentioned, we want to respect those who speak the English, those who be in the suit and tie, but those who can do something, those who are skillful, we are not investing into them. Back in the days, pre-technical schools were very active, vocational schools. Now you're in Ghana, you see on social media, the Western world are now telling us that if you are a driver, if you can cook, if you can do this, come. Then our people will just go and build a nation. So I feel that let's also help the innovative youth in Ghana. Let's empower them so that they wouldn't have the edge in traveling abroad to build their nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll start from the first question. I think that policymakers will definitely have to do more when it comes to our mental health policies and advocacies. And we also, as a people, should be cautious on how we also stigmatize people with that. It's just like the cells. Those in jail, not all of them are guilty of the crimes they committed. Some of them, they are in jail because at that point in time, they couldn't get the very best of excuses or the reasons to exonerate themselves. So once you begin to think that almost everybody in jail is guilty, then you make a mistake. It's just like our mental health. Even in the situation where our mental health hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, and all, you have people doing donations, good people in society. And strangely, we always target the orphanages. And we always target the widows. I think that our generosity should also go beyond just these bodies. And for me, to also target that of the prisons and that of mental health. My understanding is that we're working and through the Ministry of Health in getting a very solid mental health policy program so that right from just the basic level, because today if you go to many of the schools, I'm talking about even the basic ones, you definitely see some children with some strange behavior. And you have parents and families sometimes even turning their back on these children at that basic level. And I am sometimes saddened by it. However, I think it's a conversation that should not end just on an iYES platform. It should not just be left in the hands of just policymakers, but also reaching out to them from where you sit. And sometimes people just need words of encouragement that it's going to get better. And encouraging them that with these steps and these practices, and listening to what the experts are saying, you're likely to come out of it. Nobody can anticipate the time of disaster. It's like a fish caught in a creel net or a bird caught in a wicked trap. So are humans caught at a time of calamity, and it suddenly falls upon them. On the issue of our youth policies. So, Ghana launched a youth policy, national youth policy, in 2010. The implementation document was produced in 2015. The policy, we had one launched in 2010. The 2010 youth policy, we used the 2000 population and housing census data to launch the youth policy for 2010. So already you have 10 years gap with a lot of changes. The dynamics and all totally changed. So you are using even a data which is 10 years old to propose policies for 2010. So apart from using the 2010 data, which was 10 years old, to have a youth policy in 2010, then we also committed a greater sin by having an implementation plan which was launched in 2015. Fast forward, we now just also finished another population and housing census. So we are going to go through another cycle of using either data for 2010, or we may have to do a better arrangement in using a current data that speaks to the various changes geographically, various changes in terms of the educational background, in terms of economic background. So, Chief, in answering you clearly, anytime maybe you have been lucky to read through the policies, but when you read through, some of it you think we've either gone past it or we are about going past it. And some of them you think that it could have also been properly situated in our context. My worry is that the active participation of young people when it comes to this discourse and making serious input into such a document, let's first of all get the document prepared. And then, when you have the document prepared, we move to its implementation. If you are not part of the decision-making process and you leave just policymakers, it will not work. You call for stakeholder engagement, and you will have people who are not youth coming into sitting to represent the youth. They can only be sympathetic to the cause, but he who lives in it feels it. So that also, my contribution to that question will be that, yes, the policy and the youth policy document, for me, it may need some few additions to it to meet the future goals and aspirations. In the next few months, if we are not, we are currently competing in the job market with technology. It remains your biggest opponent now. So things that 5 people could do, 10 people could do, thanks to technology, 1 person can get it done. So maybe in thinking through how well do we get ahead of the game? You spoke about that of the Chinese, that of the Japanese, and that of the South Koreans as I wrap up. 1950s, they might have faced the same thing. And that is why Ghana refers to the Asian tigers of Malaysia, South Korea, and all. We might have started that same checkered journey with them. But I think the greatest weapon that they decided to hold on to was developing their human potential. If you are good at fixing gutters, they make sure you're encouraged to do that. If you are good at, with a creative hand and mind in electronics, you're encouraged to do that. But here, if you are looking for somebody to inspire you, my young friends, you'll be making the biggest mistake of your life. Take inspiration from yourself. And you say to yourself that it is possible, I have the passion, I have the energy, and I won't look back. People who haven't looked back, they've been able to break the glass ceiling. It's just like the eagle. When it soars, it knows where it wants to end, and so it never gets distracted. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami Awuku, the People's Awuku. Thank you. It's been an amazing second day for the iYES 2022. I want to say a very big thank you to all our speakers who took the podium to help encourage us. Some of them shared their life stories with us to enable us become better people in future. It's time for us to say goodbye for the morning session. However, we'll all gather here again at 5 p.m. for the evening session. Tomorrow we have Honorable Sam George, who will be attending. So those of you who love and admire him, he'll be here tomorrow. He'll share his story. He'll definitely impact some lives tomorrow. Okay, so we'd like to acknowledge Jackie Apia, who just joined us. Put your hands together for Jackie. Welcome.
Yeah. And she's ambassador for this. She's been ambassador for a lot of the years for iYES. Please, you can do better for Jackie. I bet you didn't know she was here. Jackie, forgive us. We had to do this. There were another way you were here. Please put your hands together for Samira as well.
Yes.
She's been amazing. And
a big thank you to everyone who's attended today's session. We are super grateful. The books are still out there. Make sure you get it.
20 cities, right?
It's only 20 cities.
Yeah.
Only 20 cities.
Go get it.
So make sure you purchase it. To the schools that attended today, we are very grateful. Hope to see you tomorrow or this evening if possible. This evening, Reverend Eastwood Annabelle will be here. Oh, I thought I'll hear more of that. He will bless us this evening, so don't miss tonight's session. If you can call a friend and call a friend to call a friend, please do so. Let them gather here so they can be blessed.
And of course, EcoBank will be here this evening as well. We're grateful to EcoBank, and the two of us will be here this evening as well.
Definitely will
My name
be
is
here.
KMJ.
And my name is Rosalind Felly, and we represent Joy Prime.
Thank you, and please be good. We'll see you later in the evening.